Hi, I'm Mojambo, and I'm going to cover the basics of Sivir so that you understand her and will be able to use her to her fullest abilities. With Sivir, you will be going 21 and 9, with 21 in offense and 9 in defense, making you dish out more attack damage and giving you some extra HP to help you early on. Being a marksman, Sivir does not have a ton of options in terms of rune pages, although there are a few. First being the standard marksman setup that most players use. This makes use of the 2 lifesteal quintessences for added sustain during lane instead of going with full out damage. The lifesteal quints are almost essential nowadays as they gradually recover a lot of health you may lose when trading in lane or aggroing creeps. Of course you will want your marks to be full physical damage so that you can secure last hits in lane, and armor yellows due to the main source of damage you'll be taking is going to be from the opposing marksman. Lastly, you can choose between flat magic resist glyphs or magic resist per level. I decide which glyphs to go according on which support I'll be facing in lane. If you are facing a support that will be dealing a lot of magic damage to you, like Sona or Lulu, you want to take the flat magic resist, as it will immediately help you in lane. If you're dealing with a more auto attack and sustain support like Soraka or Janna, it will be more efficient to take the per level glyphs since they will scale better into the late game and help out much more. Here is a second rune page that you can go that focuses more on harassing and using skills. Simply swapping out 4 of your magic resist runes and replacing them with the 4 mana regen per 5 glyphs will help you with this. With Sivir, you will be often relying on hitting your boomerang blade many times in lane to come out on top of trades and stay ahead in your lane. If you feel you need to dish out more skills in lane to help manage, then you can use this rune page variant. Sivir's passive gives her a 2-second buff that boosts her movement speed every time she auto-attacks a champion or hits with Q. This gives her a lot of room to trade with an enemy in lane because she will probably be always faster than her opponents. Proper kiting is key, however, to getting the most out of this passive. Sivir's Q throws out a boomerang blade that will travel to a location and then back to wherever Sivir is currently at, dealing damage to anything in the way. Each enemy unit it passes through, it will deal 10% less damage. This can potentially deal massive damage to a single opponent, but hitting just one champion can be pretty tricky. Sivir's W causes her next 3 basic attacks to ricochet onto nearby enemies. This does reset Sivir's auto attack on use, so to get the most use out of it, it should be used immediately after throwing out a basic attack. Spell Shield is Sivir's 3rd ability, which creates a shield around her for 3 seconds that blocks any single enemy ability cast on her. This is a very strong spell against aggressive kill lanes like Blitzcrank, Thresh, or Leona, because you can nullify their hooks or stuns entirely. The skill has no cost, so use it whenever you feel threatened. And the second part to this skill is that it will give you mana anytime you successfully block a spell. Sivir's ultimate is an extremely good spell, used for initiation or disengages, and it also has a passive that increases her attack speed only while using her ricochet ability, which is her W. The active on this ultimate grants Sivir's allies around her in a decent radius a bonus movement speed buff for 10 seconds that gradually wears off, similar to the active on Shirelia's Reverie, or it's now called the Talisman of Ascension, but it's twice as fast at max level, making this one of the best late game spells to help your team win a teamfight or save your allies from starting an unfavorable one. Starting with Doran's on Sivir is the way to go. Doran's items are some of the most cost efficient items in the game and will really boost your early game sustain and damage output. Starting off Doran's blade, you can't go wrong. However, the longsword 3 pots can be another option that will help you win trades early and possibly force a recall on your opponent. An optimal first back with Sivir would be recalling when you have enough money for your first BF sword, 2 health pots, and 1 mana pot. This will let you build into your main early to mid game item, the Bloodthirster. If you cannot afford the BF sword right away, buying the other components is fine, and there's no problem with that. But because of all Sivir's movement speed tools, getting tier 2 boots on her is not a necessity,
to come out of lane strong. If you have enough gold to pick up your tier 1 boots, you can just grab them anytime, however. Berserker Greaves can give you an early power spike in lane that might help you immediately, but it's not needed. You should focus on getting your Bloodthirster as early as possible. Sivir's Ricochet will not get extra spell vamp for every additional target hit, but the extra AD you get from the Bloodthirster will cause your Q to do a ton of damage. Next, you can buy a Static Shiv, which is a great item on Sivir for many purposes. This adds even more AoE damage to her auto attacks by applying the Lightning Spread ability every couple seconds. Gives her added mobility and makes her all-around damage output better. Choosing to go with the Zeal or Avarice Blade first, you must know something, however. The Avarice Blade will net you more gold with its passive, but it will reduce your efficiency in lane until you buy the Static Shiv. On the other hand, you can start off with the Zeal, making you more of a threat damage-wise and mobility-wise. Starting with the Zeal is the most common item to go with when building Static Shiv, but Avarice is alright if you have a comfortable lane, meaning you are facing more sustained farm-reliant bot lane combo like Soraka or Caitlyn, for example. Here, my team is going to start Dragon, and Janna face checks us and gets instantly bursted by the Blanc. Then Jarvan comes in and thinks twice about a steal. I'm going to use the Sivir ult to engage and speed up my whole team. In combination with Shurelya's, Jarvan gets caught out of place. In this clip, my team will be the team getting engaged on, so we're going to have to use Sivir's ult defensively. Sejuani gets caught out and I instantly ult, while staying in the back of the team fight, just casting my skills, my Boomerang Braid, and my Ricochet. And it ends up working out for us, as Jax died. What separates Sivir from other AD carries during a team fight is her ult's ability to engage and disengage team fights in combination with using her movement speed to kite enemy bruisers trying to jump on her. In team fights with Sivir, you want to stay in the back and kite the nearest target focusing you. Your Ricochet and Static Shiv will be doing a lot of damage to all other nearby enemies, while you're just focusing on kiting one target. You'll need to make sure you're using Spell Shield against CCs like stuns, so keep an eye out for an enemy you know can stun, and be ready. Reaction time is extremely important with Sivir.